All right, we're live. There's only a few of us tonight. I'm telling you, it's probably because it has turned the 6th month of the year, and you know what that usually means. That usually means that people are out getting some sun, getting some rays, just living life. And we are dedicated to our audience. We're here, even though I am, thousands of miles away from home, and I have a friend here with me tonight. So gosh, welcome. True, come say hi. It's only the two of us here. I think it's because it is an awkward night for BlackProGen Live. Normally we are airing live on Tuesday nights, but because of the Southern California Genealogy Jamboree and the fact that I'm speaking there, I wanted to take the opportunity to bring in someone else who you normally don't see with us. We've got some folks joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're in the chat room, and this is totally unorthodox. Normally we have all these nice flashy slides to start the show, and I do all these things, but that's okay. You don't have to always do everything exactly the same. So I'm your host, Nika Smith, here live at 6:04 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, airing from Burbank, California, as I mentioned, from the Southern California Genealogy Jamboree. I've got one panelist tonight. Actually two, one with me and one who's there virtually from the state of Kentucky, Miss True Lewis. Yeah. Go ahead, say something.
I'm just glad to see you out there in sunny Burbank and the Jamboree. Yeah, I'm just glad to be checking in because I'm just excited to hear what you've been doing all day, and it's good to see Miss Janice. I know I see her online and I can't wait to meet her in person. So. And
next year, come to Jamboree next year.
Yeah. And I see all the chatters there in the chat room on the YouTube channel. So I want to say hi to Denise and just welcome everybody. So.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are listening live and you are watching on YouTube, you have the ability to participate in the dialogue. If you're on Twitter, hashtag your tweets, BlackProGen. Also, if you're watching live on YouTube, if you're using the YouTube app, or if you're watching on a computer, there's a live chat that's taking place. It happens every single time we have BlackProGen Live. You can send us questions, comments, whatever. Like as I mentioned tonight, it's a little bit unorthodox. We don't have all our flashy slides and stuff like that because we're just, hey, we're winging it. And that's all right. You can do that sometimes. So tonight, my special guest with me right here in person is Ms. Janice Lovelace, Dr. Janice Lovelace, who is one of our Genia Buds. And tell a little bit about.
So I'm a genealogist, and I'm going to be doing 2 of them here at Jamboree, Saturday and Sunday.
What topics are you speaking about this time?
Oh, I'm talking about beginning African-American genealogy called Breaking the Wall of Slavery. And then I'm going to do another one on finding a slave owner.
All right.
And then I do a third one primarily for folks who have pre-Civil War ancestors that they think own slaves. And it's like, how do I find those slave owners, and then what do I do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, today was the first day of Jamboree. In the past, it's been DNA Day, and it still is DNA Day. It was held in conjunction with the International Society of Genetic Genealogy. They used to have their actual conference at Jamboree, and then they separated off, I want to say maybe 2 years ago, but Southern California Genealogy Society or Genealogical Society. They are still having DNA Day, but it's just a part of the Jamboree conference. Yeah. And so that day was today. And so they have workshops that are actually longer than traditional sessions that you have. Usually you have your hour, 45 minutes of a presentation, 15 minutes of questions. But the workshops are actually 2 hours, and it's kind of, it's set up classroom style. People have room to write and kind of, work on projects or whatever the content is for the sessions. So those workshops take place throughout the whole conference. And then they also have classes. So today's day was mostly focused on DNA, but I taught a session on making the backstory come alive, which is basically how to use technology and just different means to get your ancestral story out. Not just the traditional. Not just DNA. Yes, exactly. Not just through DNA, but also, books, videos, anything that you can repurpose for genealogy. And that's the presentation or the workshop that I taught today. And then I have another couple sessions tomorrow. I'm teaching on Finding John Lee, which was a series I did on my blog about how I use documents and DNA to unearth the ancestry and the origins of my second great grandfather. And then I have another one that's all about pensions and how they can break through the brick wall when it comes to doing African American genealogy research. So I see our chat room is cracking off tonight. I see people's faces just popping on in. What's going on, Clarice? Wanda, she always joins us. Hey girl, how you doing? Denise Muhammad is one of our faithful viewers. She shows up every single week. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let us know where you're joining us from in the chat room. If you have any questions you want to talk about, because I mean, really the reason why we do these hangouts or these sessions, live from conferences is because we want folks to have the experience or be able to ask questions about like, why do you come to things like this? Like most people feel like, a genealogy conference is not for me. Like I'm not interested in it. They don't see the benefit of going. So like, since we have you here, Ms. Jen, it's like in terms of going to a genealogy conference.
I really like going to a genealogy conference because you get to meet a lot of new people or get to see people you've known for a while, and they live in different places, so you meet up at a conference. But in terms of the genealogy piece, I really like hearing new ideas. I like hearing what other people are doing, maybe some of the skills they've developed in finding ancestors. Especially for us as African Americans, finding those ancestors pre-1870 can be a real difficult process. And I love to hear what kinds of things people have used, some documents that I may not know about. So, yeah. And then you get to hear some of the whole biggies in the field. And it's kind of nice to hear what they have to say as well.
True. I think the networking part is probably the best part. And I think also like just today, there was a researcher that I know that I've been coming to this conference. I've been speaking at this conference for the last like 5 or 6 years. And I would definitely say it's one of the more diverse conferences in terms of the class offerings that it has. That's probably like the number one thing that we as a community like have challenges with is if we decide to spend money on a conference, like are they going to have an African American set of classes or classes that are geared towards people of color in general? So Jamboree is they really made an effort along with the group in Texas to make sure that their classes and their schedule is very diverse and that it's not just focused on Russian research or Welsh research or whatever it is. So that's one of the reasons why I like coming to Jamboree. And in addition to like I said, networking classes, like we had a discussion today. So someone that's been going to this conference that I see every year, she comes up to me today and mentions a document that I had never heard of. And these are the kind of conversations that you have like at these conferences, like just literally standing in the hallway in between classes, or maybe you're in a session and a presenter says something that piques your interest and it makes you want to go back to your own research and look to see if you can try that same strategy or find that same document for someone that's already in your ancestry, So that's another big reason why people come true. Why do you think we should go to conferences?
Just a lot of what you mentioned previously is that I look for those tracks that are going to help me when I get back home. I'm looking for that diversity in subjects, and it just keeps me going when I'm at home and to help me, and then I'm around other people to bounce off my theories and my ideas and just to learn and just keep myself abreast of things, because sometimes I'm not always concentrating just on Alabama. I need information about other things to keep my tree going or my research. So I enjoy it. It was my first time at Roots Tech, and I had a whole year to plan it out, what I needed to do and accomplish when I get there, and everything that I took there, and I brought it back home and put it to action. So, and you just are around a lot of good people from all over the world. You don't ever know who's going to show up, and you should just take it all in and enjoy it. So.
And, one of the things for us out on the West Coast, and I live in Seattle, so is that not very many big genealogy conferences come to the West. So this is a fairly big one, and it's relatively close. And so it's not quite as expensive. And a lot of then people who live on the West Coast can come and hear and get exposed to all kinds of speakers. And like Nika said, there are a lot of people of color that come, people of color topics. So we have speakers and we have the topics. And you don't see that as much at some of the other conferences.
No.
I know Lara is there, and she is like my go-to person for Jewish genealogy. So
yeah.
So
yeah, I would say the other thing that's of course most of the conferences that are of large size now, they all have apps. So like when you check in, or maybe like a week before the conference actually starts, they will alert everyone, oh, the conference app is out. And then you can start to plan which sessions that you're going to go to before you even get here, which rooms there are, they're in. Maybe if you have some, mobility challenges and you need to try to figure out like where you can get to pretty quickly, they have the map, and then they also tell you which exhibitors are going to be there. The syllabus, the syllabi, they're inside the app as well. I know at this conference, actually, let me see your bag, because that's one of the things that we do is we do an unbagging during these sessions. I won't go through your personal stuff, of course, but True made a request. Yeah. What'd you say, True?
They are on
True made a request because they showed, so Living DNA is the official bag sponsor this year for Jamboree. So this is what the bag looks like. Every year it's different. What did they do last year? I can't remember what they did last year.
And I just got
for me, these are like recyclable grocery bags. This is what they usually what they turn to. So True made a request. I was like, you can have my bag, because she wanted
I just got my results back from them, so I was kind of excited. I was shocked. Yeah.
So usually most conferences, see Miss Janice, she really just got here. She hasn't even put her name tag in her badge yet, right? So So one of the things you'll notice in my house, I actually collect these. So like I have all my conference badges just like hanging in my office. And of course it's always a game. You get the ribbons. Yeah. Exactly. And True, sorry, honey, but look, the Roots Tech bag tag made its way back. Last year she was jealous that she didn't get one of these at Roots Tech. And then the other thing is Family Search. They provided this thumb drives that have all the syllabus information on there.
Oh, that is good.
So they're branded, they're co-branded with, SCGS, Jamboree, syllabus, and then it's got Family Search on the other side. And so that's on here too. And
then you have, I am a paper person, so I have the whole paper syllabus.
She requested the paper syllabus. So this is what the paper syllabus looks like for the entire conference. We didn't have this. This is why Miss Janice is here. So we get all this good conference stuff in the bag. So she requested the paper syllabus. So these are the syllabi for the whole conference. Look at how thick that is.
Yep. I like to go home and look through them later.
Yeah.
All just like that still, but books, because you can always go back and refer to the information that's in there. And
this is what 1, 2. Yeah, I'm flipping the pages. This is what 6 pages worth of syllabi, like single spaced, basically.
Of who's presenting.
Yeah, and then they've got the bios of everybody, the exhibitors, like all that stuff, in addition to all the syllabi. So I probably should have got this just so I could flip through. Like, it's probably too late now.
Shelly says, I look at too. She's out in the chat yelling.
So next, I see. Actually, hold on. We got to do some shout out to the chat room, because I see Minneapolis is in the house. Yes, Miss Denise, my family is from South Minneapolis. I will always get it confused. Wherever most of the African American people live in Minneapolis, that's horrible to say. But I want to say it's South Minneapolis. Yes, most of my family's from South Minneapolis. So if you know any atlases from South Minneapolis, those are my people. And so we've got Fairfield, California. Hey, Clarice Fairfield. All right, Vallejo Fairfield. I know where that is. Sandy is in Rhode Island. All right. Thank you for joining us way on the other side. And we've got Elmira. She just discovered my channel. Oh, that's pretty cool. This week she is from Nashville. All right, Davidson County. And of course, Shelly Murphy is in the chat room. by way of Charlestown, West Virginia. Boy, all right, we've got folks from all over the place. So of course we always talk about what the giveaways are, what the discounts are. So they always have, you know, whoever makes it in the bag, right? Legacy Books, they have you ever seen their booth? Mm-hmm. Oh, mm-hmm. Their products, no question. The quality is, I mean, I'm a very tactile person, and their leathers and just everything is really awesome. So if you're interested in like actually creating like a hardbound, like an old school sort of like genealogy book, they're one of the vendors that's here, and they actually come to most of the genealogy conferences. And then you've got publishing things, APG, Association of Professional Genealogists. They have a little leaflet in here for free research assistance. Mm-hmm. Let's see, My Heritage DNA, of course, they've got a flyer in here for, so you get 30% off subscriptions. And it looks like they don't have anything for the for the DNA test. I don't see a coupon for that. They don't have coupons. 23andMe is $20 off a kit. Ooh. It's in here. Mm-hmm. Family Tree Maker. They've got this is when you get all the stuff on sale. Is when you come to the conferences. Yeah. That's what's on sale. So Family Tree Maker is you get the download of the latest version for $30 with this coupon.
That's a good deal.
Which is a great deal for that. Lisa Louise Cook made it in the bag. So she's basically saying, hey, here's my booth. Come by and hear these people speak. We've got organizer, scrapbook organizer, genealogical studies, online courses. Of course, Ancestry DNA kits are $89, which they are already online because of Father's Day special, I think. Or maybe just a little bit cheaper. Living DNA is $99 here at Jamboree. The British Institute.
Now that's I haven't heard of yet.
Yeah, British Institute.
It's in Salt Lake.
Yeah, Salt Lake, September 18th through the 22nd, 2017 at the Plaza, Salt Lake Plaza Hotel. You've got Maurice. I love Maurice Gleason. Have you met him? Fiona Fitzsimmons and Bruce Dury. This is doesn't have how much it actually say room rate $89. Doesn't have registration information.
So you have to go find out.
So you got to go find out if you're interested in that. And then of course Raffles. Jamboree is really, they have so many raffles. Like these are all the raffles.
Yes, the trick to that is to bring your address labels or bring you some pre-made ones so you don't have to write all that out. So that's a free tip from my True Roots.
So, you know, I didn't even think about that, but thank you for next time. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
So of course they love everybody. They want you to eat. So they have suggestions for food. There's also a shirt that SCGS puts out. They do another one each year. They used to have the one with the map of the states where you could put the pins where your ancestors are from. And this one is Who I Am. And they're like $16 shirts. And they have a little tree and stuff on there. So that's another fundraiser. Then they have something about an open house for them. They actually have a library, which a lot of societies don't have a library. So they actually have a library. So they have a flyer for their open house, which is July 8th from 11 to 2 p.m. And then they've got information about their special interest groups or ethnic interest groups. They've got African American, German, Chinese, Irish, French, Canadian, Italian, Hispanic, and Nikkei, which is Japanese research. And then they have general interest groups. So these are all the interest groups that are part of the Southern California Genealogical Society, which a lot of people have heard of them because of the webinars that they host. So that's that. Research issues, they have people who are here to help. So they've got a free assistance thing. Another thing for beginners classes. Let's see, November. So this is for later. And then look at this. You DVDs or CDs of each session recorded.
So not all the sessions are recorded.
And not all of them are. Exactly. Not all of them are, but you can order files so you can go back and listen to it later. And then of course you've got your event eval. So that is the bag for this year, which is still a lot of stuff. Even if Miss Janice hadn't gone through, she knows what's in there.
I know.
She knows what's in there now. So yeah, so in addition to that, today I did my session. Oh, of course, the most important part of your bag is your pen. I have like 30 of these. I have so many of them from every time I've come here, but there you go. So thank you for use of your bag.
To you.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so it's been quite a ride. I had one session today, and then Shannon Christmas presented on DNA. It was in there for his session. The exhibitors are in the exhibit hall setting up right now, and I've run into a few people: Gina Philibert Ortega, Thomas McKenty, Lisa Alzo. I'm trying to think. Janice. I've run into a lot of folks here, and it's your typical.
Said she was going to be out there.
Who did?
Kim Cotton.
Oh yeah, I saw her last night.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Lisa, my girl Lisa, she's out there too. So.
Which Lisa?
Lisa Corcorell.
Oh, that's my boo. That's another one of my boos from CGS last night. Yes, I was gonna say those are all my California Genealogical Society. That's all my CGS family.
I have to find out if my girlfriend Sherry Finley's out there. She lives in California, so Sherry should be at that one this time. It's been up with her lately.
She might be. So that was our conference bag, and its associated accoutrements. And so yeah, so true. People said chat room is like, good job on the labels. I'm game recognized game. I'm going to have to do that next time so that I can be in the raffles.
Have you handed out any of our?
You have to write your name each time.
It is. You get your little St. Jude labels, the ones that come to your house. Oh, I love you. That is telling you I live in Memphis. I'm talking about the St. Jude labels because they send them in the mail. Where they send them to you in the mail and they're like, oh, look, we printed these labels. Give us a donation. It's like, oh, here's $10. Thank you. That would be a great way to do that. So anywho, it's gonna be short tonight, but not without Ask Mariah. Of course, we have a viewer who is tuning in that is waiting for Ask Mariah for tonight. And Miss Janice is here, so she can participate. So if this is the first time you've ever watched BlackProGen live, we usually have a top 10 at this point. We've had a lot of banner. There's usually many more people who are a part of the show. Last episode, Ask Mariah, was the longest one we've ever done. And we had a captive audience the entire time. And you're probably wondering what Ask Mariah is. Viewers submit their queries, questions, conundrums, and then the panel proceeds to try to help them with whatever their issue is. So this is where you, the viewer, get a chance to sit with Henry Louis Gates and have him do your family tree, as people say in the Facebook groups. I don't know why they won't do my family tree. Well, here we are with doing the family tree. So hopefully our guest is, Laura is here. She's here. She said, I'm here. Hashtag Ask Mariah. So if you want to really see, like, seriously, when someone sends us just the right amount of information and we all take it and run with it. I mean, we literally did it for an hour and we got back like, what, 2 generations? True?
Who that?
Last week's Ask Mariah.
Oh, wow. I think we're still recovering from that. That was so much information.
It was just so much. And I always have to remind people, we haven't seen the information beforehand other than just to tell the person available for this particular show. So you could be in the chat room so you can answer questions. But we literally worked it for like 90 minutes and got the person back like at least 2 or 3 generations. But it was all of us putting our brain power and skills together in order to work it out. Almost, like how we do in person, like if we're sitting there talking. So let me pull up the information for this week's Ask Mariah, which is from one of our viewers, the lovely, the amazing Laura Brown. All right, so she sent us information, and I'll just read it out to you all. We don't have a slide for this, but I'll read slow so you can digest all of the information. So she says, I've hit a brick wall on my 2nd great grandfather, Peter James, and his wife, Melvina James. Both resided in Grenada, Mississippi in 1880. Peter James was born about 1827 in Tennessee, city unknown, and Melvina was born about 1840 in Virginia, city unknown. Together, they both had two sons named Alfred James, born about 1870, and General Hopkins James. That's a clue, sorry. Born 1876, right? So apparently they probably born in 1876. So she's got a 1880 U.S. Census. That's the document that she has. So I'll go ahead and I'll read through the history one more time. So she's hit a brick wall with her second great grandfather, Peter James, and his wife, Melvina James. Both resided in Grenada, Mississippi in 1880. Peter James was born about 1827 in Tennessee. Melvina was born about 1840 in Virginia. Both of them, both had two sons named Alfred James, born about 1870, and General Hopkins James, born about 1876. So what's
the question?
The question is she can't get anything further than this 1880 census. This is the last, the earliest document that she has. So the first thing that sticks out to me is the age difference between Peter and Melvina.
Mm-hmm.
It's 13 years, which to me, this isn't the law, but sometimes that indicates there may have been another wife involved. Right. So maybe Melvina may not have been his first wife. The other thing is he was old as dirt having these kids.
Why was only
he applied.
But I mean, think about relative time. I mean, Peter
was 40 when James was born.
Yeah, he was
40 something.
Yeah, he was kind of old. So, I'm not saying, because, men can die having kids. Women, it's different. It'd be a different story if she said that the woman was born in 1827 and the kids were born in 1870, 1876. But I think that kind of sticks out to me. The other thing is we got to pull up location. Where is Grenada? Where is it located?
It was having afterlife babies. Well, I consider that kind of old for that time period for her to even start having kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So Grenada is in Grenada County, which is what I thought. And that is I want to say that's, okay, so it's northern sort of Mississippi. So it's closer to the Tennessee state line than it is, Louisiana, right? It's kind of in the center, but Tennessee's up here and Louisiana's on this side. So at this point, timeline wise, I've got a pen. Usually I don't have a pen.
So we got 70 census, and then
only 1880.
Only 1880.
1880, okay.
So did you look at the 1870 census for Grenada, Mississippi? And if you couldn't find them by name, might you go through page by page and see if the indexing was incorrect?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even with the name, we assume that it's going to be spelled correctly.
So, Peter and Melvina were probably together in 1870 since James was born in 1870. So the children wouldn't be on there, but.
Yeah, because they would be too young.
Yeah.
So that's our timeline. Let's see if we can bring the record up. Sometimes I have a better time with family search.
Also, I'd look to see, are there any kinds of death certificates for either Melvina or James?
Mississippi is one of those states. I actually just talked to somebody about this. I think that they have you been to the state archives there?
No.
Okay. So Mississippi,
yeah,
I've been, and let me tell you, it's really nice. They don't release a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because they want people to come to Mississippi to do the research. I honestly think that's why there's no death index. That's why you have to go there to get death. So, so we'll just put in Peter Brown. And then actually I almost want to put in Pete.
I know in the early days, Melvin was teaching me about Mississippi. He said you had to make sure that you get everything online first. Know what to do when you get to the courthouse there.
Melvina.
Yeah, I was going to say Melvina might actually be a better thing to search on than him. I'll put in Melvin. Okay, so of course nothing's popping up because I put in Melvin. I got to add that A. I did put exact. Okay, so I'll just put Mississippi. All right. Okay, that's Bolivar. You know, I know it's Bolivar, but you know, y'all know I live in Bolivar, so I have to say, here it is, Melvina James.
And that's the 1880 one.
Yeah, this is the 1880 census. So we're gonna, okay, so she is mulatto, listed as a wife, right? The question is to Laura, if you're here, she says she couldn't find 1870. Shelley asked, of course,
A state census.
State census, but not this late. They're much earlier. Educable children's records, those are on Family Search. Those are a huge resource. I actually just directed somebody to those a couple days ago. Okay, so now we're looking at, so Peter has a skilled trade. He's listed as a blacksmith. 1880 census. I hate how this, can I just get the whole, I don't want this little bitty thing. Okay.
I guess not.
So it looks like he's a blacksmith. He's born in Tennessee. His parents are born in Tennessee. And let me share the screen so everyone who's watching can actually see what I'm looking at. All right.
What was their last name again? Jones? Okay.
James.
James, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got, he's a blacksmith. He's here on the first line. He's born in Tennessee. His parents are born in Tennessee. She's born in Virginia. Her parents are born in Virginia. And then we get to the kids, and Alfred is born in Mississippi, and
Both the children.
General Hopkins were born in Mississippi. I was like, what's that? General Hopkins was born in Mississippi. And the parents' locations match the two people who were in the household. So, you know what? This might be one of those scenarios where I would search for James Peter in 1870 because he's got two first names. You know, like James is the surname, but somebody may have thought they may have wrote it backwards.
And you might also look and see if there are any more James families in the same town. And to see if maybe those are siblings or somehow related, and, you know, tracking those and seeing if you can figure that out. Because it's a little bit unusual to only have one person. Particularly in 1870, 1880, usually people kind of traveled in groups.
I just was scrolling down the page so that I could see if there were any other James. Before. Yeah. You see, we're doing all the same. She's like, let's go to the page before. It's like, yeah.
On page 18, so you know you have to use that negative rule there. Point.
That's not very clear.
No, let's see.
But the names aren't big enough.
Robinson.
Yeah.
Robinson, Johnson, Williams.
Yeah, most of those are white.
Yeah, everybody's W. Sometimes if I can't find somebody, I will look for the households around them, the same people in the one previous. So if you've got like these white families, this is Lannon family, or Lamon family, or Lay, I would see where they are and then look the pages around them. Chamberlain, you know, that's a kind of a sort of a distinctive last name, so to speak, right? There's a Collins family. So look to see, like, here's Easter Jordan. Let's go page 19. That's the page after the one that they are on. And sometimes with this, you've got to, you're needle in a haystack in. You got to go page by page. There is no shortcut. Sorry to tell you. But sometimes you got to do that to find people. Because I'm not seeing any other Jameses on these pages. So It's possible, maybe since he had a skilled trade, we have to consider this as well, that he may have been hired out by his slaveholder and just maybe the war ended or he just got left in Grenada.
Could be. Yeah. Although it's, 15 years later, it's still, that's where he was and that's where he stayed. Do you know if the family stayed in Mississippi past 1880?
I see a Douglas James on page 20 there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they're in or not, but his wife is Georgina.
Okay, so you found a Douglas James?
And a Georgina Preston. Yeah.
Marriage records? Because really what you're trying to do, Laura, is you're establishing a timeline. Like, allegedly, based on the 1880 census, 1827, Peter was in Tennessee. That's where or at least that's where he was told he was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
Melvina, Virginia, 1840. And then the kids, we've got Mississippi Mississippi. So between 1870 and 1876, they were in Mississippi. You've got that time period accounted for. Now you've got to find between roughly 1827 and 1870. That's the time period that you're trying to recap. And is it a marriage, in between there? Is it Freedmen's Bureau records? Have you searched that? Okay, she said yes. Alfred James lived in Grenada. So the family did stay there.
So that suggests that they had some roots there, that they just didn't kind of move there on their way to somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So that they stayed then enslaved there. So I'm pretty sure that something has got to show up in 1870. It would have been really unusual for a former slave to move to Mississippi in 1870.
Mm-hmm. Can you explain why?
When they were moving north or they were moving west. They weren't moving to stay in the South if they could go somewhere different. Mm-hmm. So generally, I would think, okay, if he wasn't actually in Grenada, he was probably somewhere close by. And we know in 1870 that the children were born in Mississippi. So that suggests that probably in 1865, at the end of the war, that's where they were. Mm-hmm. So I'd look at those Freedmen Bureau records, especially with him having a trade. And I would look at the bank records as well, because he may have been making some money and putting some money in the Freedmen's Bank.
Here may be the reason why you can't find them. Grenada wasn't created until 1870.
Wow.
The actual county of Grenada was not created until 1870.
Ooh,
so that means that there were six counties that Grenada was carved out of in 1870. So this means that you need to look in Carroll County, Yalobusha County, Choctaw County, Tallahatchie, Webster, and Montgomery County to see if you can find any smattering of Jameses together, right? That would probably be like my first inclination. There's a feature on Ancestry. A lot of people do not use it. Thank God for my cousin Krista Cowan, because she's the one who told me about this at Jamboree, because I didn't know about it. There's an ability to search the county that you put in and adjacent counties. And I'm going to show you how to do that on Ancestry, because this is another reason why having it's just a reason why knowing geography and when the boundary lines of locations change. So when you come in to do a search, let's say we're going to put in, and I'm just going to put in Pete with an asterisk, because we don't know if it's Peter or Pete or what, James. So what an asterisk does is it replaces characters up to 3. If I do a question mark, then that would just be one character. So we're going to put an asterisk there, and then we're going to search in Grenada, Mississippi. And then when you're doing this search, see where it says exact to? If you click that, you can, there's another box that pops up that goes to county and adjacent counties. And what that will do is that will pull in potentially those other 6 that we talked about.
Wow.
So a lot of, like I said, a lot of people don't know that. So this is the one that we found. It looks like that's probably the one that we found in 1880. Yeah. There is another Peter James in Grenada, though, in the same district.
That birth is about 1865.
With an 1865 birth. So that is, now look at this. There's an 1865 Peter here, right? Same county. 1870 in the home of a Cornelia James. There's a Peter James, John James, right? Tony James. So 1835, that's a little bit off from this 1827 date, but maybe was Peter, we don't know.
Or could it be a brother?
Could it be a brother?
So Tony could be the brother of Peter, and then he named one of his sons after his brother. Or could be the father that has that name.
Okay. So there's a few things that popped up. But I'd probably play around with this. Yeah. I'd probably play around with this exact or adjacent county, since Grenada was not created until 1870. That's probably the next course of action that I would take. Exactly. Wanda suggested something exactly right. Go back and look at all of those counties individually. You're absolutely right. I think that's a great strategy. In fact, I would even take out Peter and just put in James. This is just to see what sticks, right? We're kind of looking at
Melvina.
Or Melvina, exactly, because she would have been pregnant around the time. So I'll put in male. I'll just put in male, just because you just never know how stuff is indexed. So census records, you've got Melinda. There's
Melissa.
That's Melissa. Yeah.
There's a Melinda.
There's a Melinda.
Which could,
either could work. Let's see.
There was a Melvina in 1880.
These are all 1880, so nothing's popping up, and everybody's in Grenada. Like I said, I would play around with this search and just unearthing the information about the boundary lines of the county changing. You have to always keep that in mind, especially when we're dealing with, because think about this. We don't know that when the county was created, when Alfred was born, they were not even actually in Grenada.
Could have been somewhere else.
They were somewhere else. It was the other county, which is, probably the reason why we can't find them. I'm trying to think of anything else you want to think about.
So, marriage records for the two children, they might have listed the mother's maiden name. So you could go and see if you can find anything on her family in 1870. Because maybe they didn't get married right away. Even though the child was born in 1870, maybe parents weren't married at that point, or she was still living with her parents. Any number of things that could have happened. If there are any kind of death records that give you what mother's maiden name was, maybe even a town that she was born in, or that somebody thinks that she was born in.
Yeah, I would on-site records or microfilm. This might be one of those situations where you have to move from the online environment to the offline environment. We didn't check.
You maybe be able to find the Genealogical Society in that area. Sometimes they'll do lookups for you, or some local records. Shelley mentioned the city directories. Probably not in 1870, but go and look and see what else is there. There's a Melvina James.
To a Eddie Youngblood, but that's Lawrence County. Is that one of the counties that?
Well, it depends on how old.
No, that wasn't one of the counties it's carved out of. But this is, that's a marriage record we just came across on Family Search. Yeah. Play around with these counties. I think that's the reason why you can't find them, is because they weren't living in Grenada, because it didn't exist. Grenada didn't exist.
It's like how Bullock is. I know that it wasn't formed until 1866, but it's born out of like 4 other surrounding counties around it. So yeah, you have to look around those.
Search your DNA results for all those counties. and get your groupings of DNA cousins together, even if they don't have the same surnames. But look at all the folks that are, you know, Grenada, Tallahatchie.
Yeah.
But, you know, just search for those and get your groupings of people together so you can see if you can identify patterns. And that might actually be a huge clue as to the origins of both Melvina and Peter. I think that's another way to kind of jump the process, but you got to search it all the other counties. So anywho, before we go, True, is there anything else you want to potentially add to ask Mariah? And I'm glad, see, Janice had great feedback. Maybe she can
I'll join you again.
I was gonna say she can
That's
join
my
us
dinner
again.
time at 6.
I know. It's her. We come on during her dinner times, that's normally why she misses the show. She can't participate. But yeah, it's dinner time for us right about now. I'm hungry. I don't know about Miss Janice.
Well, you know how much they feed you on the airplane. I'm ready.
Zilch.
Oh my gosh.
I'd love to have Janice come back anytime. You're more than welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you have a question, you can always submit to Ask Mariah in the comment section of every single reporting of BlackProGen Live. Normally we have such much more of a lively crew, but tonight, because it's Thursday, sort of competing with Miss Bernice's show, she's got a Civil War episode on. So when we shut off tonight, in just a few minutes, make sure you go to her Blog Talk Radio show and listen into her episode. I forget I know it's something about the Civil War. I just took a peek of it, but don't forget to set your reminders. We have another show coming out. A matter of fact, when we head into the summer, we actually have more episodes. So, you'll be hearing about a lot of different stuff. Our next episode is actually scheduled for June 20th. It's called Rights of Life, Religious, Fraternal, and Benevolent Societies. And the description is people of color communities thrive on social and community interaction. Learn about the history of religious, fraternal, and benevolent groups and how they can add to your already existing genealogy and family history research. And so we've got a resident expert in that area who is James Morgan. He knows how to find, when your great uncle was the deacon of Double Rock on the side of the road of Jericho Missionary Baptist Church, and and why that was important. And then he'll tie it to Prince Hall Masonry 4 times, and then he'll find a picture of the person, and then you'll just be done. So be sure to check out that episode. We also have June 27th. You see, there's 3 episodes this month. We normally only do 2. So you better come and get it while you have time. Episode 36, which is on June 27th, is a week later. Get to my folks. Easy ways to find people of color in online records. Tired of having to sit through tons of records just to get to folks are yours. Join us as we talk our inside tips and tricks on narrowing down people of color in online record sets. And so if you're interested in those topics or potentially any of the other ones, we actually have all of our shows already put into the system, so you can set reminders for each and every one of those, just to remind you that that it's happening. I think that's about it. I have a couple sessions tomorrow. I don't think they're live streamed. I'm pretty sure they're not, but they will have recordings of those.
Yeah, hopefully, in another year we'll see some of the African American sessions live streamed.
I know. Maybe we got to get to work on that.
There we go. That's our work for the weekend.
That's our work for the weekend, is we're going to try to advocate to get more African American sessions live streamed.
Okay.
That's a novel cause. Yeah. Let's see if the chat room is talking about maybe more suggestions from Ms. Laura.
Churches.
Yeah, exactly. Most Blacks stay together. Old churches in the area. You're absolutely right. Oh, Shelly says get to work. On the live stream. You see her giving us work to do. She's not even here, and she's talking about get to work on the sessions. Whatever, Shelly Murphy. Low bandwidth tonight. Not a lot of bells and whistles. Just talking and kind of filling you all in on the conference life and what that is about. And I just wanted to thank Miss Janice Lovelace for joining us live here, even though she's normally in Seattle, Washington. And thank you all so much for joining us, the chatters. Maybe if you're going to watch this later, you're probably like, why do they do that? This will be your push to get to a conference, whether it's Roots Tech, whether it's Southern California Genealogy Jamboree, whether it's the OGS National Conference, whether it's Midwest African American Genealogy Institute, whatever it is, get out, get from behind your computer and go and meet people live and in person and talk to them about genealogy, because I'm sure your family is tired of you talking about it to them. Let's just keep it real. Your family doesn't want to hear about it anymore, right? So come and hang out with the rest of us weirdos, so to speak.
Yeah, they want to hear the results, not the process.
Yes. Yeah. And matter of fact, today during my session, I was like, okay, we think everyone wants to hear it, but really, like, we watch TV shows, we watch the genealogy things, and we want to see the process. As a genealogist, we want to see how they got to that record, how did they get there, blah, blah, blah. Our family, they just want the end result, right? So we are bakers and all the ingredients. Our family does not care what we put in. They just want to taste the good end result. So consider that when you're talking about your family history research with your cousins or any other family members. They just want to get to the cake. They don't care that you use a mix, how much sugar you put in there, or vanilla extract. They want to get to the cake. So get them to the cake, and an easy way to do that and to maintain your sanity is to come to conferences and be around people who
want to hear about the process.
Who want to hear about the process, who want to hear about how much sugar you put in there. So on behalf of our illustrious panel, which is only 2 tonight, but that's all right. Me and True held it down for all the rest of you guys. You suck. I'm kidding. Don't forget to come back and join us on June 20th, which is, we're going back to, of course, Tuesday night, which is when we normally do this. 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. For Rights of Life. Don't forget to set your reminders. Also, I got to remember, don't forget to sign up for the Lowdown by BlackProGen. That's our collective feed of blog posts, podcasts, anything the group produces. You'll get that directly in your inbox. Also, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which just hit over 1,000 subscribers. Yay! Some of the folks tuned in tonight, which is great. And if you have any suggestions on topics, we're always taking them. We have to develop the schedule for next year. So if there's something you feel we didn't talk about enough this year, or maybe we needed to spin it off to another episode, or maybe we just missed it altogether, be sure to let me know what that is. So have a good evening. We're going to go get some dinner.
Yes.
Good. I know, can you believe we did this in an hour? We never do a show in an hour. Like, never.
But we were just flying by the seat of our pants, and I think we did good.
So for our chatters,
we want you to
that are out there, I'll give them a personal shout out. Oh, there's somebody who's here. Hi, I'm going to try to find you at the conference and meet you personally. All right, Charlotte. So to Charlotte Parnell, Shelly Murphy, Elmira Lofton, Denise Muhammad, Sandy Q, that's such a great name, Wanda Looney, did I say Denise? I said Denise, Mill Perkins, Kelly Lewis, Clarice Mason, all you folks that joined us tonight. Miss Laura, thank you so much for your Ask Mariah. Thank you all so much for joining us. And Denise says, so true, I got to get to the conference. That's right, because she been trying to tell her family how much sugar she's adding, and they don't care. They just want the cake.
Come on and do it.
Yes. So for on behalf of all of us who are here, thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget, I'll be tweeting and all that other stuff throughout the conference, just kind of keeping you all abreast of everything that's going on. So have a wonderful weekend. Get out and get some sun, get some exercise, and we'll see you on June 20th. Bye.